How's it going, everyone? And welcome, well, not welcome back, but welcome to this new series of Kaiju number 8 by Naoma Matsumoto. So, what I wanted to do was, you've probably seen this at the end of the week, and it's Friday now. So, I wanted to do a Monday as Nexumon gameplay, then on Tuesday would be like Black Torch. Thursday is gonna be like Elden Ring, and then Friday would be another manga review, right? So I was like, okay, I've never really read Kaiju number 8, and I'm like, you know what, this might be like a good start because I've never really, I mean, I'm not part of the community or anything, and never really heard about this series. The only thing I've known is apparently the manga fell off or the anime fell off. I know there's a new anime that just came out. I don't really know much about it. Only seen like some like artwork and stuff about it. So in my hand right now I have the first tankobon, and the first tankobon I think has 7 chapters. I can check right now actually. It does have 7 chapters. So I decided, hey, you know what? Might as well do like a review on the first 7 chapters. If this does well, then I'll get the second tankobon, talk about that one too. If not, then I'm going to go to Jujutsu Kaisen, basically. Like, my next series would be Jujutsu Kaisen. Spy X Family is another contender I would go to. Um, Other than that, I don't think anything else would really I would really talk other than those two series. And also, of course, when Black Torch is done, I'll probably it will probably be either those two, or I'm thinking of what's it called, Samurai 8, basically, by Kishimoto. So anyways, back to the chapter 1. So chapter 1 is titled, what is it titled? Is there a title for this? I was hoping there was a title. Hold on a minute. Is there not a title for this chapter? I guess not. This chapter 1. So anyways, chapter 1 starts off with a thing called a kaiju, basically. So these kaijus, from what I understand, they they kind of destroy cities, basically. And so a member of Division 3 practically came by, and they took down the kaiju. So we see just a girl walking by, and we see the cleanup squad, I would say, kind of hanging around just to like clean up the mess of what squad number 3 did. So we get introduced to our main character, Kafka Habino. Kafka Habino. I might watch just episode 1 of the anime just to know what this guy's name is. So he's basically talking about, like, how kind of garbage his job is. Like, oh, we gotta like clean this up, and his job practically sucks. Like, he has to go and clean the intestines of the kaiju, and like it's terrible, honestly. So he starts watching the news when he gets back home, and he sees the woman who took it down from squad 3, Mina Ashuro, and we get a little flashback of a young man and a young girl just kind of standing by side, watching the city kind of destroyed. We can infer that it was practically these two when they were younger, and he became part of this cleanup squad while the girl became to have a name for herself. He does try to justify like his job, like, hey, like, I get to live in a nice apartment. I get to live in a nice apartment and eat what I want. However, when we look back at his apartment, he is drunk when he says this, and he was smoking a cigarette. We see a lot of beer, and I think that's like ramen packs or something like that. It's not as good as he say he is. He's trying to just play it down, I guess. So anyways, the next day we get to see him come back into the cleaning. It's a cleaning company, basically. It's a professional kaiju cleaning company. So when he comes in, he sees that they got a new recruit. It's also important to mention that what's this guy's name again? Hold on. It was starts with an N. What was his name? I have the book in front of me. See, this is good to have a good hard copy. Kafka is 32 years old, okay? So that is going to be relevant coming up. So the new recruit is Rino Ichikawa. So they kind of talk. Well, he's kind of more of like a stoic character. He doesn't really talk much. A little awkward guy. And the topic of bringing up the Force comes up because he wants to join the Force. And another colleague kind of says, oh, this guy wanted to join the Force too, but he never did. So Reno kind of asks, he's like, hey, like, why'd you give up? And mind you, this guy's 18. He has his whole life ahead of him. And Kafka kind of just says, like, like, I guess you could say the competition pretty stiff, all that, like, only a human can only take so much, and I was just kind of at my limit, right? Reno was like, yo, like, that's kind of stupid, basically, like, I would never understand somebody giving up for that type of a reason, right? And that kind of pissed Kafka off, to the point when they go out for the next duty, they kind of make Reno go into like the intestines, and Kafka has to go into the intestines too. So Kafka kind of just sees how it kind of beat the hell out of this guy. Like, he doesn't want to eat, just like how everybody else doesn't want to when you go into the intestines, because it smells bad, stuff like that. So Kafka kind of tells this guy after, like, I think they're on their lunch break, like, hey, like, you okay? He's like, I've kind of lost my appetite, sir. He is respectful, I will give him that. And he does say, hey, put these on. It's like nose plugs, basically, so they can make the job more tolerable. And they're like, nah, it's okay. And he kind of forces them in his nose. He's like, stop, sir, I'm serious. This is blatant abuse of authority. It's good. I really like this. I like this Reno guy's character, basically, right? So then afterwards, when the job is done, they're all heading out and stuff. Kafka kind of says, well, at least the foul part is done. And messed up already. What's this kid's name again? Reno shows up, and Kafka's like, oh, hey, good job today, sir. Like, it was very it was really good what you did there. Reno kind of says, thank you for your help. I made it through my first day on the job. I appreciate it very much. And he's like, oh, no problem, actually. Like, it was kind of like, his mentor just kind of getting the newbie around, basically, right? And so then Reno kind of says, like, they're raising the maximum age for new recruits to be 33 for the Defense Force, that is, since there's a declining birth rate, which, I will admit, it's putting that little, like, information there kind of just expands upon the world a little bit, which I do appreciate in a manga. And he's like, I know it's not my business, but you look pretty torn down when you were telling me why you gave up. So, it's a nice little back and forth. It's a little more of a respect thing. Kafka helped Reno on his first day, figuring out, like, like, this is what the job really is about. Getting your actual hands dirty in the job versus your ideals are two different things, right? And Reno just kind of pays him back. He's like, hey, you know what, like, he doesn't want to see his I don't want to say master or anything, more of a supervisor, I would say. I would say supervisor is more of a better term to say. Like, he doesn't want supervisors to see him, like, do, like, kind of doing this job 24/7, since his dream was to become part of the Defense Force. And if his dream is to become the Defense Force, he doesn't want to see other people's dreams to be taken down as well. Anyways, off the tangent, we get to see the next page where a kaiju kind of attacks the boy, attacks Reno, and Kafka kind of saves him at the last minute. And I don't know if this is a mistranslation, but Yuju, I would say that this is like not like a kaiju, but a smaller version of it. I could be wrong. That's what I inferred from it. So after saving the boy, Kafka's like, yo, get the hell out of here. Renu? I said that right? Oh my god. My names are really, I'm sorry, my name's Reno. That's what it was, Reno. Tells Reno, like, yo, you gotta get out of here. Like, your whole life's ahead of you. You wanna make it to the defense force? You can't die here. Reno's like, sir, you'll be on your own. And he's like, yo, you gotta start running. And, what's this guy's name again? Oh my god. What's this guy's name? Kafka, right? It's Kafka. Yeah, Kafka. Kafka's like, yo, I'm completely screwed here. Like, what the hell was I thinking? He's like, how did this all end up like this, right? So we get a little more. We go back to that flashback again, which I really like. How just like in Black Torch and like what Bleach does, they black out the gutters, and that's when the characters start talking. We get to see that girl. What's the girl's name again? Oh my god. I need to have these written down, actually. I feel like this would help me out a lot more. It started with an M. I know that. Hold on, guys. What was it? It was Mina Ashura. Mina Ashuro. Same thing. Anyways, they kind of talk about how somebody named Miko ended up dying, and so they kind of both say like, oh, they're gonna join the force, basically, right? And they kind of just said like, they kind of make a bet like, okay, then we'll just see who becomes the cooler officer, basically, right? So then, Kafka kind of lays on the ground. I think his leg is pretty mangled up, and he's kind of like, yo, how does it end like this, basically, right? And right at the last second, Reno comes in clutch and hits him with I think that's a light pole. A light pole hits him, and he's like, Reno, what are you doing? I told you to go send an alert, right? Yeah, he did tell him to send an alert and just run for his life. And Reno's like, I sent the alert. That's not what I'm asking. If I abandon you, sir, I'll never join the defense force. Which, I will say that's a pretty good reason. Like, how are you gonna join the force if you can't defend somebody, basically, right? And we kind of get another little flashback right after this, and Kafka gets his letter from the force, the District General of Defense Force, right? And it says like, hey, we regret to inform you that you have not passed. And he's like, damn, I'm so powerless, basically. I haven't changed a bit. I can't even protect anything. Not my game console, not my friends. I can't even protect a rookie from my job. And he's like, damn it. And right at that second, we get to see that girl, Minma, the Japanese Defense Force, and she takes down the Waiju. I think that's what Reno called it. So yeah, Minma Ashuro, and so I feel so bad because he doesn't really acknowledge Kafka and kind of just keeps going. I will admit, she has a nice white tiger. Like, that white tiger is insane. Is that like a kind of like a spirit summon from Elden Ring or something, or is that like an actual white tiger? Because I need to know the history of that white tiger. So, anyways, continuing on, they both get sent to the hospital, Reno and Kafka, and they kind of just have a little back and forth. They kind of thank each other. They're like, I would be a dead man if you hadn't saved me today. And Rena's like, I think you should join the force. He kind of has that line like, I don't care what you do with your life, like with that stoic type of character. Yeah, they kind of talk about joining the force. And right when they do this is like kind of weird. It's like some type of um I would say, I don't know, it's like some type of bug. And Kafka kind of say it's a Kai, but he couldn't say it because this bug goes into his mouth. And Rena's like, sir, are your wounds acting up? And the moment he turns in, we get to see see what we see on the cover, the cover of the Tonkobon, right? The Tonkobon art. And at first, okay, let me tell you this. I'll follow a little transit. When I saw the cover art of Kaiju number 8, I thought this was going to be like some type of Attack on Titan, like Eren turns into the Attack Titan. You know, he's like some type of huge creature, right? I thought it was like that. But no, Kafka turns into a creature, but he's still like human sized, right? He's still sitting in his bed, like that's kind of interesting. But I guess we'll get more exposition later on. He still retains his personality and everything. He's like, he kind of is like, yo, Rena, it's still me. Like I'm telling you, he's like, and Rena's like, don't back away. And they kind of, I don't know. It's just a really weird scene. Like all of a sudden, like this dude becomes a kaiju out of nowhere, right? Of course, I would say that this kaiju does say like, hey, I did find you. Like it was homing Kafka. Like it was trying to find Kafka. But that's where the chapter ends. Kaiju number 8, episode 1, The Man Who Becomes a Kaiju. Oh, so that's what the chapter is called. The Man Who Becomes a Kaiju. So the chapter title was at the end of the chapter. That's quite nice. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Next Friday we'll be doing chapter 2. I'm kind of curious on why people said that this manga fell off. Of course, I'm not gonna know this within the first tankobon. Of 2 or 3 tankobons in, I'll probably figure it out. That's if Kaiju number 8 does well on the channel though. If it does or does not, I mean, I'll probably review tankobon 2 or 3. Maybe not after number 1 specifically, but you know, at one point maybe I'll review it. So yeah, that concludes the video. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching to the end. Like, comment, subscribe if you did. How do you feel about Kaiju number 8? Tell me in the comments how you do. If you, and where you at in the series, if you're still reading it, and if you do enjoy the series. But other than that, thanks for watching. Make sure you have a great day, and I will see you next week. Take care, everyone.